after a couple of early turnovers by the Bears and the Vikings. Look at Thielen. One-handed, a gem. Hey, what do you think, baby?
Well, back in the end zone, got the right hand hooked by the DB, left hand brought it down, didn't even touch it with the other hand.
Never brought it over.
Never brought it over.
Doesn't need to. All right, so the Vikings get some things going early. Third quarter, though. You come out after, they've scored 7 points in the third quarter all year. They've played many third quarters, but this is how you start a second half. Cordell runs it out of the end zone as he does every single time. Sometimes it doesn't work. This time it does. Look out. He gone. And he has a entourage down the side. Look at Eddie Jackson. He's almost beaten him to the end zone. Arcavius Mingo is there.
Mingo almost tackled him.
He almost did.
Mingo's fast.
None of the Vikings. And look at Nagy. It felt like oxygen into the franchise, into the stadium. They lose Akeem Hicks late in this game to a hamstring, and it made all the difference in the world because they were doing a number on Dalvin Cook. And then he runs right up the middle. Hicks was awesome last night. He was talking to Cooks. They were barking. It was a great matchup. And then they lose him, and they start moving, and Cousins is going to go to Thielen again. That's another touchdown. We have so many shots of Buster Skrine getting beat on plays. He's always there. He just doesn't make the play. 19-13 now late. Less than a minute. Nick Foles, do you have a statue? Do you have a miracle in you? No. Even worse, he gets dragged down on this play by Afadi Adenabo, and watch what happens. He stays down. It doesn't look terribly violent, but it doesn't have to be depending on what part of your body lands. You see Foles wears the flak jacket. We're going to have updates on this all day and all week, but he leaves. There's Trubisky, who hurt his shoulder on a Wildcat play weeks ago. Foles is carted off, and in some ways, maybe so are the Bears. They go into the bye having lost another. The offense was not there, but you know what? Skol Vikes. Vikes win again to get to 4-5 on the road. Kirk Cousins' first ever Monday Night Football win goes to 1-9, but he gets the win. 19-13 Vikings.
All right, let's bring in Mike Garafolo, our NFL Network insider of the morning. Mike, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. We saw Nick Foles go down on that final drive. Great highlight by Kyle there. What is the latest on Foles?
Okay, Matt Nagy did not have much information for reporters after the game, saying Foles was dealing with either a hip or a leg injury because he was being evaluated at that time, undergoing x-rays and the like. Now, I was told overnight that Foles is actually okay, despite how that looked. Initial tests are extremely positive. There was no sign of a break, according to sources, in the hip. That is the area that they are focused on with Nick Foles. You can see from the replay that is where he lands. So the maybe immediate fear was that there was a fracture in the hip, but tests taken at the stadium did not reveal a fracture. So that is really good news for Nick Foles, at least initially. He's going to have to continue to undergo tests. But as the Bears left the stadium last night, and again, heading into a bye, they thought to themselves, well, maybe we're going to have Nick Foles available for us after the bye. Now, the thought is also that they might have Mitchell Trubisky available to them after the bye as well, as he's working his way back from a shoulder injury that he suffered a couple of weeks ago. They've been reluctant to even entertain the thought of putting Trubisky back in. We'll see where this goes for the Bears, but the initial hope is that Foles and Trubisky will be available to them after their bye week.
Bears started the season 5-1. They've lost now 4 straight. Thank you so much, Garafolo. Kirk Cousins getting his first career win on Monday Night Football. He's now 1-9 under those bright lights, guys. Nate, what'd you make of that game?
I loved it. Shout out to the Vikings. After playing so inconsistent throughout the first part of the season, a couple of heartbreaking losses, some games that I know they felt like they should have won. A few weeks ago, I said that the Vikings are playing as good as anybody. Too bad the season started a couple of months ago. Kirk Cousins didn't play perfect, but he played the game he needed to play. I love some of the graphics that they showed during the game. They showed Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins hiding behind a bush while a grizzly bear kind of walked in front of them, and they were scared. And I thought that was cute, but it's fitting, though, because they didn't have big games. But in this one, they did. Kirk Cousins made the plays he needed to play. More importantly, down the stretch. I remember one play specifically towards the end of the game. They're trying to close it out, run the clock down. He delivers a ball to Kyle Rudolph. Kyle hits up the sideline, and then he just starts flexing and screaming.
Stays in bounds.
Yep, stays in bounds, and he's high-fiving his buddies. And, and the camera was on him for about a minute, it felt like. And I know what that's like. People may think, who cares that Kirk Cousins doesn't win on prime time? He's in the NFL. He makes a ton of money. He's good. Kirk Cousins cares. He was 0-9 on prime time, 12 TDs, 6 interceptions. He knows what the narrative is. He knows what people are saying. And right there in that one moment when he knew they won the game, there was like a weight was lifted off of his back. I don't know, man. It seems like right now, if the Vikings are mathematically in it, after starting this win streak, beating the Green Bay Packers, I'm not going to count them out.
Yeah, and they almost beat the Packers earlier in the season.
Yep, first game.
They've given a lot of teams a game. So, yes, it started a little late, 1-5, but it's not too late. And more importantly, it wasn't just Dalvin Cook yesterday. Like, there was a balance to this offense. You saw Adam Thielen. And yesterday, as we're talking about Stephon Diggs being the top receiver in the league, receiving yards, Justin Jefferson's really good.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about rookie wide receivers making an impact. This class of Judy and Lamb and Ruggs, Justin Jefferson's right up there, if not the best in all of them. 8 for 135 yesterday. Continues to have this incredible season. Almost under the radar because people wrote this team off. But overall, I look at this guy, 42 catches on 54 targets, already 770 yards. And last night, Cousins was going to him as a number 1. It's very rare you trade a player like Stephon Diggs and they find a replacement who can just do it like lock. Go on. Yeah, what do you got?
They tried this before. You know, history repeats itself.
Sure. They traded Randy Moss and drafted Troy Williamson in the first round. We're like, all right, just slide into the Randy Moss role. It never happened. Justin Jefferson, he's not Stephon Diggs. He might not be Stephon Diggs for a couple of years, but he sure is on his way to something. And I thought last night, getting those guys involved, they're a team I don't want to face. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. It might be too late. It really might be. It's a loaded NFC West. But I do like the fact that they didn't just let the season go a couple of weeks ago, and now they've got some juice.
They do have some juice, and I thought last night they were okay, and they just had to be okay to beat the Bears. I just looked at this game, and I thought the Vikings were all right. I thought that just the Bears were terrible. And if you feel sick, you got to puke. You have to purge. You have to get it out. I need someone to jump in the boat. And I would just think, they got a kick return touchdown to start the second half. Oh, my God, here we go.
Got something.
Bear down.
No.
Crazy camera angle.
Bears fans, I need you to bite a stick here so you don't swallow your tongue. After the kick return touchdown, this is the Chicago Bears offense.
Oh, boy, here we go.
3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. 3 and out, punt. Turnover on downs. Turnover on downs. That was the second half after the kick. That was it. The defense outscored the offense again, and this is on a night when you're at home, you're on national television, as you will be in your next game.
Yep.
You had a new coach calling plays. Your Pro Bowl center was back in the lineup. You got a special teams touchdown. You were playing against one of the 2 or 3 worst passing defenses on the planet. Your own defense created multiple turnovers. Your kicker didn't miss. Your punter was good. And you were playing against the running back. Your defense was heroically shackling and a quarterback who was 0 for his lifetime on Monday Night Football. And in the fourth quarter, when the whole season, the whole world, the whole franchise was on the line, 1.4 yards per play for the Chicago Bears. It is a shame. And I think next weekend, their offense could be just as productive, and they're on a bye.
Okay. Oh,
you're right.
What did the surface do to you?
You're right.
The surface.
At one point in the fourth quarter, they had 14 total yards on offense.
It's just not there. It's just dead.
It's mind-blowing.
What do you want to happen?
They go on a bye week, and, you know, Nagy afterwards, when we get healthy, of course, they've tried everything. And you know what? Giving the play calling duties to Bill Lazor, it did make a difference. It made it worse. No. It made it worse. It was legitimately worse. So now you Control-Alt-Delete for about the 5th time, and I don't know. Maybe you go to Trubisky. Because just screw it. To try to mix it up. If Foles is even healthy. You know what the worst part is?
What?
After the bye week, they got the Packers. Like, they got Green Bay and
It also stinks.
It's very frustrating. I'm trying to be positive. What do you got? You got anything?
Their 2 worst games were on national television on Monday Night Football.
And the next one is on national television.
That Rams game and this game. So it's like all your warts and bruises, it's not being hidden on a 4 o'clock window, 5th game. Like, everyone sees it. You can't hide.
Yeah, I think it's the Vikings that deserve the real estate here.
They do. I mean, I agree.
They do, right? They won 3 straight. They're 2 games, Kyle, back of Seattle, right? They're 2 games back for the final playoff spot in the NFC. If we're talking about who they have coming up, they've got the Cowboys, they've got the Panthers, they've got the Jaguars. So to Nate's point, they may have a chance to get themselves a little run here at the second half of the season while those NFC West teams sort of beat each other up for positioning.
It's about who gets hot at the right time. Just think about it, how high we were on